Alright, what's up, you guys? In today's video, I'm just gonna be doing a quick trade recap. I used to do trade recaps almost every single day, and the reason I stopped was just because it felt like I was repeating myself a lot. And it's just because I take the same trades almost every day, so it got repetitive. But I was just thinking about how, and I've been thinking about this for months. It's not like I just thought about it, but it's just the fact that with trading, it when you repeat something, when you repeat the same setup, when you take the same setup every single day, when you have that repetition, you get consistent. And when you have repetition and consistency, that's where you get the success. So I don't care if these trade recaps are going to seem repetitive. That's the whole point of succeeding with trading, is just kind of repeating what you're good at. So we're back repeating. We're back doing trade recaps. Hopefully I do them every day. That's the goal. And I just recorded a trade recap like 5 minutes ago. I watched it and like I just had to redo it. I could not watch myself. I was stuttering like crazy. And we're just going to do it better. Okay. So the trade that I took today was shorts on US 30. Also, if you see stuff in the background in the room, my brother is visiting from deployment. He came back home early from deployment, so he's staying in the room. Hopefully, he'll be on the live stream tomorrow. That's the goal. I hope he, you know, is like a bring my brother to work type of thing. Kind of. Not really. But yeah, if you guys see some stuff, that's why. So today I took shorts on US 30, made around 6K in total. And in reality, it's just around $300 in each account. So it's kind of 300 times 20 accounts. And yeah, here it is. Here's also the execution. Boom. There's execution there. And the TP was early. I'm going to get into it. I'm just going to get right into it. If we look at US 30, we have this 1 hour supply zone, and boom, that's the trade right there, right? But I'm going to tell you guys the confluences that I had and the confluences that kind of made me confident in the shorts, right? First confluence was this huge 4 hour range that US 30 was in. Boom. If you look at US 30, we've been ranging in this area for about 14 days. So for about 2 weeks, we were in this area. Over the weekend, we broke past this area here, and specifically, we broke past this 4 hour demand zone here, which I really like this 4 hour demand zone because we bounced off of it right here. So usually when I see the market bouncing off of a zone, it just makes me really confident in the zone, right? So also another thing is that when some traders trade in a way that if we run through a supplier demand zone, it's not valid. But for me, how I kind of like to use supply and demand is like how people use support and resistance, right? Because they're very similar. So you can see right here, this area here is kind of an area of support, right? We bounced off of this area a couple times, boom. And then once we ran through it, you would expect this support to turn into resistance, right? That's how support and resistance work. And supply and demand is very similar to that. So once I saw this before the market opened up, I said if we touch up on this area, I would want to see us reject this area because that would make the most sense to me, right? So originally I had this 4 hour zone marked up, and I had this 1 hour supply zone marked up as well, right? So when the market opened up, it opened up very choppy. I didn't really have any zones around this area here. If I did, I didn't take a trade off of it because I was waiting for the market to either tap this 4 hour demand zone down here or this 4 hour zone up here and this 1 hour supply zone up here. That's what I was waiting for. Another reason why I didn't trade around this choppy area was just because look at the price action on the 5 minute time frame, right? First 5 minute candle close out weak. When you see market open and within the first 30 minutes it looks like this, you either don't trade that day or you have to wait for the market to tap into a certain area and you have to wait for better volume to kick in, right? You either do those things. But the worst thing you can honestly do is like try to look for a trade in this area. It's just not the best thing. It's very easy to get wicked out. Another thing is if you look at the 1 minute time frame in this area, you can see there's just like a bunch of fake outs, right? It's also very wiki, so it's just kind of dangerous. So based off of this price action here within the first almost the first hour of market open on the 1 minute time frame, I didn't like it, right? So I lost trust on the 1 minute time frame today. And I stuck to the 5 minute time frame. If you don't know, usually I place trades. I execute on the 1 minute time frame usually because I usually place trades within the first 15 minutes of market open. Usually you get like a really clean breakout during that time, but I didn't see that today. So this price action here just made me feel kind of iffy about it. And usually after I see this price action, usually I call it a day. But today I felt extra patient. I don't know why. I think I felt extra patient because I wanted to. I thought these zones were really good. If you look at NASDAQ as well, there was a clean 1 hour and a 4 hour supply zone. So I thought the zones that we had were really good. So I decided to be patient. Usually, though, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as patient as I am today. Usually, I like immediately call it a day. But I was chit chatting on the stream, and it made the time go by very fast. So around 10:30, the market had tapped into, and I'm gonna erase this 4 hour zone here. Don't really need it. Around 10:35, 10:40, the market tapped into this 1 hour supply zone here. And again, usually I execute on the 1 minute time frame. But I wasn't looking at the 1 minute time frame because of the first 30 minutes. I didn't like the price action, so I decided to stick to the 5 minute time frame. So that's what I did. If you look at how these 5 minute candlesticks were closing, these 5 minute candlesticks were closing rejecting this area here. So that's also another confluence for why I took shorts. And immediately, once I saw this first red candle here, immediately I wanted to short it. But again, from the previous price action, I needed more confirmation to actually take the trade and to actually trust the trade. And that extra confirmation for me was going to be this red candle here breaking below it, right? Breaking this wick here. And also, I don't have it marked up now, but this area here, what is it? 0.35, this area here was also one of my white lines. If you don't know, my white lines are just support and resistance lines. So that was also another confluence. And yeah, I placed the order here. Something like this, placed the order, and I just let it vibe out. The order was there for almost 15 minutes, so I waited a while. When I first got tapped into this order here, my stop loss was at the highs. And the reason it was at the highs is because I thought it would make more sense. But usually on US 30, my stop loss is 50 points or less. So 63 points is a pretty wide stop loss. But I think even with this wide stop loss, I wouldn't have been risking like a crazy amount because it's only one contract on US 30. So in reality, originally I was risking around $300 for this trade originally, right? Once the market was moving lower, I think I once this red candle here like popped up, then I decided to just risk 250 and have my original 50-point stop. Even though it didn't make as much sense. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I shrunk down the stop loss. The 1 hour candle closed out. And if you look at the 1 hour candle, it closed out rejecting the 1 hour supply zone, which was perfect. And yeah, then from there, it immediately hit take profit, which for me, my original take profit was down here at 100 points, a clean 1 to 2. But once it tapped on VWAP and this 5 minute candle didn't close below VWAP, then I just decided to close it out right there. I closed it out around 60, 65 points, and that gave me a good profit of around almost $300. And of course, like I do wish I held the trade, to the full TP2, but I also understand why I decided to just close it out here because of the previous price action. I just didn't trust it as much, and it was right at VWAP. So shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I understand why I did it. And also, I have trailing drawdown, right? I'm trading these Apex accounts, and all 20 of them still have trailing drawdown, which is kind of not dangerous to trade, but you have to lock in profit when you have it, because if I was in profit right here, $300, and I closed it out at a loss, in reality, I would have lost way more than $300. It would have ate at my drawdown. So that's just also another reason why I closed it out there, even though it's really an early close. So yeah, but I don't think I will be doing early closes once I get over 2,600 on these accounts. Once I get over 2,600, then I'm gonna have end of day drawdown basically. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that was it. In total, it was around 6,000, which sounds crazy, but in reality, it's just 300, which is good for a 50K account. I would say $300 is a pretty clean day, and it might not sound crazy, but I think it's perfect. The slow and steady way on a 50K account is one of the best ways you can get a payout. Also, if you look at my calendar, my P&L calendar, the first week was pretty tough for me because my sizing was one full contract on NQ. If you don't know, one full contract on NQ with 50K accounts, it's not impossible, right? But one contract on NQ with volatile markets, you can lose a lot of money quick, and you need really tight stop losses. So once my performance was like not the best using one full contract, then I just decided to size down to 5 micro and just trade one contract on US 30. And that's what I did the second week, and it played out perfectly. It's crazy because I made more money on the second week trading less. So, I hope that tells you something. You don't need to have bigger sizing to make more money. You really just need the stop losses and the take profits to make sense. And also just follow your A plus setup. But yeah, I didn't trade yesterday. It was a bank holiday. Well, honestly, it was a pretty good bank holiday. I think there was a good long that you could have taken, but it was also just very low volume. So we'll see what the rest of the week brings us. If you liked this trade recap, then let me know in the comments or like the video. I definitely want to start to do more trade recaps, even though they will seem repetitive. I think, when you repeat something, you get better at it. So I'll definitely be doing these trade recaps more often. And if you want to get funded with Tradeify, they currently have a flash sale of 40% off. And if you use code up, you can get 40% off. So that's there if you want that. But anyways, I love you guys and thank you guys for watching.